Hi everyone! If you're new here, I'm Allen with Earthglow, and this channel is all about sharing the joy of candle making. So today's video is really exciting. It is about 7 in the morning and I just got up and I'm going to be unboxing and giving you my out-of-the-bottle first impressions of CandleScience's new year-round fragrances. And a lot of these scents do lean really aromatherapy and apothecary-like from just looking at the names. As you all know, I don't read the descriptions. I like to be totally surprised and kind of see what I can pick up. But anyways, if this is something that you're interested in, then consider subscribing. I am always posting candle-related content and fragrance videos, if you all don't know by now, are my absolute favorite to film. But anyways, let's get right into today's video, and I hope that you enjoy. So before we get into this unboxing, I always like to put up the disclaimer that there is always a chance that a fragrance that I really like, you might not like, and there's also the chance that a fragrance that you really like, I might also not like. But that is just gonna be the nature. Fragrances are very subjective. Excuse me, and I do always recommend that you do your own testing, and these videos are just my out-of-the-bottle first impressions. So I know that they're really fun to film, but it's always really important to make sure that you're doing your testing in a final product before you have any final impressions. But with that said, let's get right into this unboxing. I am super excited. I've been enjoying a lot of CandleScience's fragrances also in cold processed soaps. Comment down below if you've also tried some of their fragrances and soaps and which ones you really like. I'm very excited by some of these names because they just strike me as very soapy-esque in terms of being, you know, aromatherapy, apothecary-like. And I do also want to mention that these fragrances were sent to me from CandleScience, but this video is in no way sponsored or affiliated with CandleScience. As you all know, if you've been here for any amount of time, I give my honest opinion on fragrances on this channel, for better or for worse. But let's get right into this unboxing. Okay, so here we go. Oh my gosh. I get so excited for fragrances. You all know, these are just my favorite types of videos. Okay, so first up, I'm actually gonna be a little bit surprised by these names because I looked at them briefly, but just only briefly. I feel like this release, I didn't even know it was coming until they posted. So this one here is Lemongrass and Verbena, and it has Citronella to it. And I did ask Emily from CandleScience, and she specifically said that these fragrances do contain Citronella essential oil. And so that is really nice. I know we can't claim like medical, you know, you couldn't claim that these will repel mosquitoes per se, but they do have Citronella essential oil in them, and so, you know, people can kind of marry the two together if they want to, but technically we can't claim medical benefits with our products. This next one is called Paloma. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I have no idea what to expect with that one. And then this one, ooh, Butterscotch and Bourbon. This one, I think is gonna be perfect for all of my clients from Kentucky and from the South. They always love their good bourbon fragrances, and I am a real bourbon fan as well. Lemon Blueberry Crumble. Okay, that sounds very like, it could be summery, spring-like. I saw a candle called Blueberries for Breakfast that blends CandleScience's Blueberry Cobbler with their Blueberry Cheesecake. And then this next one is called Citrus Sunshine. Okay. And then we've got Ginger and Saffron Citronella. Now that is interesting. CandleScience makes several ginger fragrances. They have a red ginger saffron that's really, it's kind of a niche fragrance. Some people really like it, some people don't, but I have a huge clientele base that loves the red ginger and saffron, and I just sell it as red ginger saffron myself. Just because I think that it's really true to name, and people who know those fragrances will be drawn to it for that reason. But this is interesting. So this one does not say red ginger, it just says ginger, and then it has the citronella to it. So we will see. I think that is everything here. Oh, there's one more. Okay, ooh, okay, this one is really exciting. Pear and Thyme Citronella. I have no idea how all three of those would go together, but I feel like it would be a really aromatherapy, just kind of beautiful, intriguing scent. Okay, so let's get into these oils. I don't even know what I want to start with. I think I want to try this ginger and saffron citronella. This one, it seems interesting to me just because they also released a ginger and spice fragrance. I think it was last fall. That a lot of people were really into. I personally thought it was okay. I think that I will probably use it in my line, but just because I have a lot of clients who love ginger, it's not my favorite note per se. But here goes ginger and saffron citronella. Okay. This smells like ginger and saffron. I'm getting a little bit of the citronella, but it's definitely not overpowering. I would say that this is gonna lean more aromatherapy, herbal. It's not striking me as like a holiday type of a fragrance. So if you've smelled Ginger and Spice by CandleScience, that one is definitely more of a holiday type of a ginger. And in my opinion, like a fall and winter. And same case with their red ginger saffron. I do use that one kind of year round. I have it like as a limited edition. Kind of pop up here and there, and then that niche client base that really likes it will be able to purchase it then. But yeah, this one definitely I would say is like a year-round kind of aromatherapy type of a scent. And I am curious, I will be putting up the notes on the screen, but I'm curious how this performs in cold processed soap. I know CandleScience generally is really good about putting those notes up on their page, which is really helpful for those of us who, you know, like a fragrance that is versatile and where we make candles and soaps with it. All right, next up, let's take a look at this Citrus Sunshine. I feel like this one could be interesting. I'm not really sure about it because a lot of times for me, I can be really critical of, well, I feel like Citrus Sunshine, it's usually when it's like a double citrus or a double type of a fruity scent that they often smell like candy to me, and I'm just not into them. But let's take a look at this Citrus Sunshine. CandleScience does have some really good citrus fragrances, I will say. So one of my most popular candles is I blend their Orange Blossom with their Blood Orange at a 50-50, and that is my Florida Sunshine candle. It is one of my most popular candles in my Summer Lovin' collection. Which will be launching soon. On the 1st of June is when we will be launching the Summer Lovin' collection. I'm super excited. But anyways, here goes Citrus Sunshine. I can smell something with this one from a foot away that is very citrusy. Okay, this is surprising me in a very pleasant way. It is not a candy-like fragrance at all. I would say that this one does lean a little bit more agave-like. So it has a sweetness to it, but it's more of a natural sweetness. So their citrus agave fragrance, by the way, I'm also familiar with, and that one to me does smell more like candy. But this one is actually, I would say, what I was looking for in their citrus agave fragrance, but didn't get. And I am pleasantly surprised. I'm curious how this one will perform in a candle. A lot of times citrus fragrances, they can be really challenging to formulate, I think, for fragrance companies. When they are burning in candles, they can have sort of a fuel smell to them a lot of the time. Now, CandleScience's Blood Orange and Orange Blossom, like I said, I use that at a 50-50, and I've never had someone complain about that type of a scent, and I've never smelled that myself personally, that kind of fuel, artificial type of a scent. But this, I am very pleasantly surprised by. It is extremely prominent as well out of the bottle. I'm also curious how the performance in cold processed soap is. I will have those notes up on the screen if they have those available on the website, and you can always just check if you scroll down on the fragrance page to see if they have posted cold processed soap notes. But yeah, citruses in cold processed soap do tend to fade quite a bit, and so I'm just curious how the scent retention would be on this one in cold processed soap. Now, I have found that when I use like benzoin, the resin, not benzene, those are very different. Benzene is like, you know, totally gasoline, benzene, the carcinogenic diesel fuel type things. I'm talking about benzoin. It is a natural resin, and you can use that in your cold process soaps to help them last longer with those fleeting essential oils like the citruses can often be. But yeah, very pleasantly surprised by Citrus Sunshine. I gotta have my coffee. I am not a morning person, and it's 7 a.m. I've got a Zumba class. No, it's 7:30 by now, but I've got a Zumba class that I'm leaving for in like half an hour, and I could not wait to smell these scents. I got these in, oh, I'm shaking the camera too. I got these in yesterday, and I was so excited, and I almost filmed last night, but then I just didn't get to it, so I had to get up and film this video. So anyways, this next one is Lemon Blueberry Crumble, and I'm hoping that this is more of kind of not so sickeningly sweet. I want something that is more, I want to get a strong lemon note and a less sweet blueberry note, I would say. Something that could give you that kind of upscale gourmand in an aromatherapy type of a line, which again is one of the reasons when I saw the names of the scents on this launch that I got so excited, because they did sound more aromatherapy. And just so you guys can see right off the strip, this one does, if it'll focus here, it does have more of a yellow tone to it, so this will probably discolor your candle wax just a little bit if you do have, just leave a natural white wax. And to me that doesn't bother me at all, but I just like to make sure, you know, to put that out when I can see that. It's very prominently yellow, and it will just kind of tint your wax just a little bit. Okay, so yeah guys, this is very, very sweet. I don't think this scent is for me. I'm getting a really prominent, like, it smells like a lemon blueberry crumble. And I guess I can't really criticize it because that's what the name is. And it's very prominent. I do get a fresh lemon note though, the more this dries down on the blotter strip. So it hit me first with like the sweet, almost sickeningly sweet, in my opinion, blueberry notes. Kind of more like your blueberry cheesecake, blueberry cobbler. And I personally am not into those type of scents. There are a lot of people that love those heavier gourmands. Oh my God, I just whacked myself in the face with the blotter strip. This one, okay, this one smells, the more I smell it, like a pancake. So if you have tried like blueberry pancakes with maple syrup, that's what I'm getting from this fragrance, with a hint of lemon. And it's not for me personally, but if you are looking for that kind of sweet, almost blueberry pancake with maple syrup type of a fragrance, I would say that this lemon blueberry crumble is going to be it. Okay, next up, let's take a look at this butterscotch and bourbon. While we are doing the kind of gourmand fragrances, I am excited about this one. So like I said, I'm usually not that into gourmands. It kind of depends on the fragrance. But butterscotch with bourbon is often one that is just like a classic kind of Southern Kentucky type of a scent. And bourbon, it's just, I have a sweet spot for it in general. And I didn't even put this fragrance on the blotter strip, and I can already smell the butterscotch notes, which a little concerning to me. Okay. No, so now that this is on the strip, I can smell, it's like a 50-50, and I'm really pleasantly surprised by the bourbon notes. It's a very upscale butterscotch and bourbon fragrance. So wow, yeah, the more this dries down, I am getting those bourbon notes, and they're like very high end. I'm surprised because when you pair something like that with butterscotch, it seems more like a mid-market type of a scent. But this is really a high-end smelling gourmand. Wow. So this reminds me of, if you've smelled 1617s, As Fate Will Have It, this is a little more butterscotch heavy, and it's a little bit sweeter, but it's definitely along the lines of something like that. I believe that Dupe had a fragrance as well. I will put the name up on the screen of the fragrance that it reminds me of by Dupe. But I really like this. So I would say it's a gourmand for sure. Like, you're definitely getting those butterscotch notes, but it's like, I would say like a 60% butterscotch, 40% bourbon, and it's so close to a 50-50 that even to someone who doesn't like a gourmand, but just wants something that's kind of warm and cozy, I feel like this would do that. And you could put it in a year-round line. You could sell it as Butterscotch and Bourbon, or you could use, you know, whatever other creative name you like. Also, if you've smelled Spiced Honey and Tonka by CandleScience, that's kind of a sweet tobacco, sort of a scent. Or if you've smelled the Flaming Candles, I'll put the name up on the screen of the scent that I'm thinking of. It's kind of along those lines, but done butterscotch and bourbon. So if you like those types of kind of nostalgic, cozy scents, and a lot of people are really into them, I would not use this one in a cold process soap. I think this is really a candle exclusive kind of a fragrance. But wow. This may be my favorite one that I've smelled so far out of the bottle. Okay, hopefully I don't have coffee all over my face. I'm like doing fragrances and then I edit this out, how many times I actually sip the coffee during the video. But this is my favorite way to spend the morning, you all. We've got 3 more to go. Let's try this Paloma. I don't even know what this is. I probably should, but I don't. And I have no idea what to expect from this one. So here goes Paloma by CandleScience. Oh, this is, I just whacked myself in the face with a bladder strip. This is interesting. Okay, I don't know why, but I have to say this because, like I said, I give my opinion for better or for worse. And what this is reminding me of right out of the bottle is a Ricola cough drop. And I don't mean that in a bad way. Like, it's like spot on. If you've smelled like a honey lemon Ricola cough drop, that's, to me personally, what this smells like out of the bottle. I'm getting that kind of menthol note and kind of a lemon note, as well as maybe a hint of honey or ginger. It's a beautiful, I would say, aromatherapy type of a scent. Yeah, if you like those types of peppermint eucalyptus, but you want something that's a little bit more year-round, versatile, maybe has some lemon to it, but still has that kind of menthol, kind of nasal, sinus clearing quality, I would say that this scent might be something that you consider checking out. I don't know that I personally need something like this in my candle line, but I could also see this, I'll put up the soap notes on the screen, but I could also see this working really well in a cold process soap. Again, for people who like those kind of tingly type soaps, like I do a peppermint activated charcoal, and I use usually like a 50-50 of CandleScience's peppermint eucalyptus with Japanese peppermint essential oil, and that is one of my most popular soaps. I sell it as my Noir, N-O-I-R, means black, and people love it as a facial soap for that detoxifying property with the activated charcoal, and then with that kind of menthol cooling quality of the peppermint. But this one definitely does that, but has more of a lemony kind of citrus top note is what I'm picking up. We have 2 more fragrances to go. I'm thinking I want to smell, let's do this lemongrass and verbena. I'm excited for this one. So if you ever smelled lemongrass essential oil, that is actually very nostalgic for me because it is the first candle that I ever made. So it was a candle with beeswax. I actually started out, as I mentioned, I'll link my video above on my wax formulation, but if you know anything about my history, I started out making pure beeswax candles, and then I ended up blending it with a little bit of coconut oil because beeswax is such a brittle wax and can be susceptible to cracking, and the coconut kind of helps mitigate that. But I started out with beeswax and lemongrass essential oil, and so it has a very nostalgic property for me. And I will also say that if you've never smelled lemongrass and you think that it's gonna smell like a lemon, I would say you're going to be surprised because it doesn't at all. Lemongrass is more, I would say if you've ever smelled sassafras, or even if you've not smelled sassafras like the tree, but if you have smelled Fruit Loops, the cereal, that kind of has a sassafras note to it. And I would say that that has some similarities to lemongrass. But this one is blended, it says, with verbena, and I'm very excited. That's another kind of citrusy, kind of more upscale citrus. And I've given CandleScience a hard time for, I believe, their Lemon Verbena fragrance, because that one to me smells more like a candy, and you all know I'm just not into that personally. So let's see what this lemongrass and verbena is gonna do for us. Yes, yes, and yes. Okay, this does not smell like a candy at all. This is very upscale aromatherapy. Wow. Yeah, this is an artistic, I'm getting chills. This is an artistic representation of lemongrass essential oil. I'm getting the lemongrass, but I'm getting something else that's kind of like a chamomile. If you've smelled, I know a lot of people don't like their chamomile tea fragrance. I'm personally a big fan of it. I just love those kind of more earthy, woodsy, hint of floral, wildflower type fragrances. And if you're into those, I would say this fragrance, this lemongrass and verbena, it's something that you'll probably want to check out. Wow, this one is a little bit lighter out of the bottle. I'm curious how this would throw in a candle, but out of the bottle, yeah, I smell the lemongrass essential oil, but it's like only like 20 or 30% of that. I'm getting more of a dewy chamomile bud, Roman chamomile, with a hint of lemongrass and a hint of like lemon zest. Like there's a top kind of zingy citrus note to this one. It's really captivating to me. But I would say that this one is definitely gonna be more for your aromatherapy type of a line. If you don't have that, you may wanna pass on this one, because folks who are into those more kind of mid-market type scents, or even that just aren't into your more earthy, natural aromatherapy scents, will probably have the same reaction as they did to chamomile tea when they smell this and just be like, no, this is not for me. But I personally am very intrigued by this one, and I can't wait to see how it performs in a candle. And last up, the one I am most excited to smell, that I have been saving for last, this is the Pear and Thyme Citronella. Now, I gave CandleScience, well, first of all, let me say that their brandied pear, the original brandied pear, I will always, always, always say is one of my all-time favorite scents. It was one of my all-time best sellers, and I am so sad that they revised it, because the revised version, in my opinion, is not nearly as good. But they then came out with an orchard pear fragrance, and that one out of the bottle was really, really good. But when I tested it in wax, it had almost no hot throw for me in my 464 that I tested that one in. And so this Pear and Thyme Citronella, I'm hoping is along the lines of that orchard pear type of a scent. Kind of aromatherapy like, upscale, spa leaning, but with a better hot throw. So we'll find out about that later. For now, let's do our out of the bottle here for the Pear and Thyme Citronella. Okay, this is different. CandleScience, this release is really intriguing to me. I gave them a very hard time on their last release, because their releases in the last like year and a half, 2 years have been so good. And to me personally, the last release that they did just fell short. And so I gave them a really hard time, but some of these fragrances are just like interesting to me. I'm not gonna say that I like this out of the bottle, but I will say that I'm intrigued with it. So I'm getting like a pear. It is kind of more of it's like a cross between orchard pear and brandied pear. Yeah, it's a sweeter pear. It's not really a candy, but it's a sweeter, kind of more honeyed pear. And I am also getting the citronella. I don't really know if it works all together yet. I don't know. I think it might. I am kind of getting the notes more individually. Like I'm getting the brandied pear, orchard pear, and then the citronella, if you smelled that, essential oil, and then the thyme. So I grow English thyme in my garden, and I've been very familiar with the herb thyme, and I will say that that is the lighter note of the three. So it's mostly the pear is what I'm picking up out of the bottle, and again, kind of a honeyed pear, and then I'm getting the citronella, maybe 20%, and then maybe like 5% of the thyme, with 75% of the pear, the honeyed, brandied, etc. pear. But yeah, very intriguing to me. Again, not gonna say I like it, but I'm intrigued with it and I'm interested to see how this comes together in wax. All right, so the last thing I wanna do is try to rank these fragrances. I'm gonna try to choose my top 3 favorites, I think is how I'm gonna do it for this one. And I think, I'm really surprised to say this, but I think, yeah, I'm really surprised to say this, but I think my 3 favorites, going from number 3 to number 1 in this one, yeah, I'm really surprised by this. So number 3, I'm gonna put Lemongrass and Verbena Citronella. And again, this one is gonna be for your really earthy, almost skanky earthy lovers who are into those types of kind of vetiver scents, or maybe those kind of dewy chamomile if you've tried Makesie's infused yarrow buds. I think they renamed that one. I'll put the name up on the screen, but those types of scents, your kind of wildflower-esque fragrances, you're gonna be into this lemongrass and verbena citronella more than likely. Number 2 is butterscotch and bourbon. And this one really surprised me with how upscale it is. Now, don't judge this one from the cap, because from the cap, I'm just getting hit with the butterscotch, and it's a very sweet, true to life butterscotch. But when you put this one on a blotter strip and it dries down, that rich, sultry, just seductive, upscale bourbon comes through, and oh, it's gorgeous. Okay, and then my number 1, I am totally surprised by. I thought that this was gonna be probably my least favorite based on the name, but Citrus Sunshine, again, it's everything I wanted in citrus agave. It's chilling. And I've smelled, I think CandleScience has like 5 or 6 different citruses, and I like all of them, except for I am critical of the citrus agave because it smells like candy to me. And I think grapefruit and mangosteen is one. I really like that scent. But this one, and again, the blood orange and the orange blossom, I blend that at 50-50 for my Florida Sunshine, and that is a bestseller for me. But this Citrus Sunshine, I mean, you could put this by itself and call it Florida Sunshine, or you could have this in an aromatherapy line. I feel like this is a very versatile fragrance. For a mid-market line, an upscale line, it's very versatile and absolutely stunning. I mean, it smells like the sun is rising and you're seeing all those beautiful hues as the sun comes up in the morning, and you're smelling the fresh air outside, and you get a little bit of that kind of ocean breeze type of a scent with it. It's like an ozonic, breezy, but really rich and cozy citrus, and I cannot stop smelling this. And it literally is giving me chills every time I'm smelling it. Well, that is gonna be all for this video. I do hope you enjoyed, and if you did, don't forget to give this one a thumbs up. Leave me a comment down below of what some of your favorite citrus scents are, or your favorite bourbon scents, and I'm really curious. I love Aztec's bow ties and bourbon, and I love Flaming Candles, Midnight Bourbon. Those are some of my personal favorites. I also love 1617's As Fate Will Have It. That has become one of my favorite scents of all time for a gourmand. Anyways, I hope that you enjoyed this video, and thank you so much to CandleScience for sending me these fragrances. Let me know down below what wax you think I should test these out in. I do have a lot of different waxes that I've been playing around with. The Cocoa Apricot Cream, I have Cocoa 83, I've got 464, I've got my own beeswax soy cocoa cream blend that I use for my wood wicks, and then I've got my SP487. I've got, I mean, just the list goes on and on. I've kind of become a waxaholic, and I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving it. But anyways, I hope that you enjoyed this one, and I'm sending all of you peace, love, and light, and I'm wishing all of you happy candle making.